Jack and Emily had been married for over 50 years. They had been through so much together, raising their children and seeing them grow up, building their lives together, and navigating all the challenges that life had thrown their way. Through it all, their love for each other had only grown stronger, more enduring. But as they entered their golden years, Jack's health began to decline. He had always been a robust man, strong and full of life, but now he was beginning to show signs of Parkinson's disease. At first, it was just a slight tremor in his hand, but over time it became more pronounced, spreading to other parts of his body. Emily noticed the changes in Jack immediately. She was still sharp as a tack, still able to run circles around most people half her age, but she could see that Jack was slowing down. He was having trouble getting around, and his speech was becoming slurred. At first, Jack tried to ignore the symptoms, to soldier on as he always had. But the disease continued to progress, and soon it was impossible to ignore. He began to fall more frequently, and his mobility became more and more limited. Emily took on the role of caregiver with her usual grace and strength. She learned how to help Jack with everyday tasks like getting dressed and bathing. She made sure that he took his medication on time, and she took him to all of his doctor's appointments. But the emotional toll of being a caregiver was beginning to wear on Emily. She had always been a fiercely independent woman, someone who prided herself on being able to handle anything that came her way. But now she was feeling overwhelmed, unable to keep up with the demands of taking care of Jack and keeping the rest of her life running smoothly. There were times when Emily felt like she was drowning, like she was barely keeping her head above water. She would sit with Jack, watching him sleep, feeling a mix of love and sorrow wash over her. She was so grateful to have him by her side, but the thought of losing him was almost too much to bear. But even in the darkest moments, Emily never lost sight of the love that had sustained her and Jack for so many years. She would think back to the early days of their relationship, to the heady rush of falling in love, and to the challenges they had faced together over the years. She would remember the births of their children, the joy of watching them grow up, and the satisfaction of building a life together. As the disease progressed, Emily began to feel like she was losing Jack bit by bit. He was still there with her physically, but he was no longer the same man she had married. She missed the sound of his voice, the warmth of his touch. She missed the way he would make her laugh, the way he would tell her stories about his childhood. But through it all, Emily remained steadfast in her love and devotion to Jack. She would sit with him for hours, holding his hand and talking to him, even when she knew he couldn't respond. She would make sure that he was comfortable and that he had everything he needed. She would do whatever it took to make sure that he was taken care of, even when it meant sacrificing her own needs and desires. As the end drew near, Emily knew that she needed to prepare herself for the inevitable. She spent time with Jack, telling him how much she loved him, how grateful she was for the life they had built together. She talked about their children and grandchildren, the memories they had shared, and the love that had sustained them through the years. When Jack finally passed away, Emily was heartbroken. She felt like a part of her had died with him. But she also felt a sense of peace, knowing that he was no longer suffering. She took comfort in the fact that they had shared so much love and joy over the years, and that their love had endured even in the face of illness and death. In the months and years that followed, Emily thought often about Jack and their life together. She missed him every day, but she also felt grateful for the time they had shared. She continued to draw on the strength and resilience that had sustained her throughout her life, and she found ways to stay connected to Jack's memory. She spent time with her children and grandchildren, telling them stories about Jack and the life they had built together. She took up new hobbies, pursued new interests, and made new friends. But she never forgot the enduring love that had sustained her and Jack for so many years. In the end, Emily realized that their love had been the most enduring thing of all. It had seen them through the ups and downs of life, through the joys and the sorrows, through sickness and health, and even in death, their love continued to live on, a testament to the enduring power of the human heart.